What happens when Elvis and James Bond have a baby completely infused with the Naked Gun and Airplane DNA?
Mm, Not this. Not this.
Find out next on Trees in Space. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trees in Space, the show where we watch and review movies of every genre, and we tell you what the fans thought, what the critics thought, and what we think. Was it worthy of a forest, or just a little stump to sit on? This week, in case you missed the thumbnail, we watched the 1984 spoof Top Secret, starring Val Kilmer. That is Jason, and I am Nate.
Strike that. Reverse it.
We're watching this because Val Kilmer passed away about a week ago. By the time you see this, it's gonna be like 3 weeks ago. But so you got what you got.
Uh, this is my first Val Kilmer movie that I've seen, excluding Batman Forever. Uh, and is he just not a good actor?
Well, I he played Batman Forever and he played Nick Rivers. They are completely different characters, and I believe both of them. So you tell
I
me.
I thought his acting was awful. Um,
I think it's his very first show. No, I think Weird Science might have been. Not Weird Science, but oh, there was one. Not Weird Science. It's the other one. It's the other science movie. Anyways, let me explain to the people what this movie's about that don't know.
yeah,
Um,
because
pop,
hopefully this helps.
Popular and dashing American singer Nick Rivers, Val Kilmer, travels to East Germany to perform a music festival when he loses his heart to a gorgeous woman named Hillary. There's no one named Hillary's gorgeous. Uh, he finds himself caught
Hillary
up in
Duff.
a. I said gorgeous, not attractive. There's a difference.
Oh.
She's not gorgeous. He gets caught in the underground Renaissance movement. That Rivers joins forces with people to, do basically, especially fighting the updated Nazis of Germany. Because this is before the wall fell, by the way. There was an actual difference.
Okay, so there was an actual East Germany all in its.
Hmm.
I this movie, it tried, man. If it wasn't like, I'm disappointed in the guys that brought us Airplane, like,
And Naked Gun.
and Naked Gun. Yeah, they failed with this movie so hard. Um,
Spoiler alert, we know what he's putting his trees are gonna be.
like I liked the British agent. Um, I found it funny in the beginning of the movie when dude gets hit by the overpass, but it just breaks straight through, and then the spy is like "F this" and just bolts out the book. No, I thought that
Yeah,
was kind of funny.
that's Omar Sharif, matter of fact, a really big name actor in the 60s and 70s, huge. I can't believe he did this part, but go ahead.
Uh, I would have liked to see more of him. I was confused. I did. I liked it when he met the blind man, and he's like, "Oh, try this, sir," and he lights like the cigar and it blows. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, it was interesting enough. But anytime Val Kilmer was involved, the movie really just kind of sucked.
When this is a Zucker and Abrams, I think. It's one of their films, like we said. After watching this, I watched Naked Gun 2, just because you know what I mean? I needed to cleanse my palate. I'm not a big fan of Naked Gun 2, but I like it. Anyways, the the sight gags, the things they were doing that they do so well in all the movies, went very well with this movie. That they did. Like the East German cheerleading team or whatever it was, the female,
Yeah.
all female. Yeah, that was freaking hilarious. Things like that were great.
Olympischen Mannschaft von Ostdeutschland.
But you're right. Val Kilmer being the main character, like Ted Stryker, or these other characters that are supposed to be playing it straight, they don't deliver it the way Leslie Nielsen. Now that's not fair to them because no one does like Leslie Nielsen does. Um, but or Robert Stack from these other movies. All these other movies, they got great actors that can play it straight, but do it so well, it's hilarious. None of these characters were playing that, except maybe the not that British guy, but the blonde British guy that was the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, the dude that was on the island.
Yeah, he's the only one that played a good straight, trying to play it straight. But everyone was kind of playing it not like it's serious. They were playing it like it wasn't serious.
I think everybody is I think Val Kilmer's acting was just so bad that the other actors couldn't like because I felt like
Lift
they
it
took
up.
it pretty serious, you know, but like Val Kilmer, he was trying to be pretty the whole time, like and suave, and I all of his lines, his dialogue just came off as dumb,
Mm.
like, and it just I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's like when old boy gets crushed in by the car, and you have he grabs beeps the horn and wipes the wiper blade with
Yeah.
his other hand, and then like the girl reaches over him and he honks the horn. Like that was
And
fucking funny. That was good.
the the boobs were in his face, and the antenna went.
Yeah, like I
Yes.
thought that was great. You know um, but like when he was at the restaurant, they're like, "Oh, they want me to sing," and he gets up on stage and then start.
Mhm.
Why did he have to try to be Elvis?
Because that was his character, and I think you're right because they didn't give him any lines where he thinks he's smart, but he's actually kind of stupid. Like a Naked Gun. I got it. You got to compare the movies. Like what I hear in my head all the time when I hear the name Frank. He goes, Frank, Lieutenant Drubin, you're both right. That's what he's like little. It's like what those little like he's not that smart, but he thinks he is. This character wasn't that. They never gave him any lines that make him seem like he was stupid. They just gave him lines.
Yeah. And why is it the French resistance going against East Germany? Shouldn't it be an East German people's resistance going against East Germany?
Well,
Like,
yeah, probably. I will say, um, I thought one of the funniest parts of this movie was when you meet the French resistance and they get introduced, and there are all these freaking French words like souffle, déjà vu. It's like all the names of the
Treen.
characters. Latrine, yes. Oh, latrine. All the characters were names of just French names that Americans know, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
Um,
This is Chevalier, Montage, Détente, Avant-garde, and Déjà vu. Over there, Croissant, Soufflé, Escargot, and Chocolat mousse.
I also like the part where he meets the girl and he goes, "I'm sorry, I don't speak any German." And she goes, "I know a little German." There he is. And, and he goes, "I want the strongest thing you." Wait, that was a different movie. Anyway.
Uh, I did like how Latrine kept coming in. Like you thought he
Mhm.
was going to be dead, and then he keeps coming back with like some kind of message, and he's still all bandaged up and like. I
Yeah,
enjoyed that running gag of him.
they did have some good running gags.
I like really though, it's the movie was good except for the lead actor.
You know, that's fair because when I first watched this movie years ago, I didn't like it, but um, at all. But my brain, when I think of spoofs, things that happen in a spoof movie, they were in this movie. And I'm like, oh my God, that was this movie? Oh my God, that was this. I remember so many parts of it, not remembering it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that was in this movie because that was funny. This movie's not. You know? And then I'm like uh when he punches the dude off the wall and he falls and he shatters. You
Yes.
know, I was like, I like that part. I love the part where he had that thing up to his eye, the magnifying glass up to his eye, and he took it down, but he still had the eye the same size.
Yeah, and then everything was backwards, but they were moving
That
forward.
that's an amazing shot. I don't care. That's just some amazing film doing. You know that's what they did, but how that was hard to do.
But did you again with the choice that was made with this taking the lead? He could have played it different, but every time he like hucked a book, he had like a ha ha,
Yeah.
like
But
some.
he had to do all that backwards. You know how hard that must have been to do all that backwards? Because he did it, they all did everything backwards, all three of them. And then they played it. They
Oh,
played the scene, yeah, they did everything backwards, and then they just played it backwards so it looked like they went forward. Everything. That's why I'm saying that scene was good filmmaking.
another really impressive scene is the underwater saloon fight.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. The
I don't
amount
know
of
how they did that.
time that they were underwater is insane. Like,
Obviously, they have some sort of weights on them to keep them underwater,
yeah,
but they did it so well. I'm like, and they were underwater. I mean, there wasn't CGI.
no. It
This
made
was
me
great.
think of the mermaids down in Florida, Witchy Watchy or whatever.
Mm,
Like, that's what it made me think of. So they probably had like air lines or tubes somewhere that they could breathe in. But there was
probably.
so, like, I'll give credit where credit is due. Val Kilmer held his breath for a very long time.
Like I said, they had some really good parts in this movie, and I didn't realize until you said it. The problem was the main character. And it's kind of hard to like a movie as a whole when the main character is as bad as this character was.
And I would have loved to see his manager more.
Mm.
Like, I think
This ain't helping me at all.
those two together worked because, like, in the train scene, he said something in German, and he's like, "What did you say?" And he said whatever he said, and he's like,
Mm,
"Is that really how you want to be the ambassador of whatever, of like the United States or whatever, something like that?" Like,
yeah.
I found he was the dry to the like he was a very good counterbalance to the
Hmm.
beginning of the movie, but then you left Val to make
He
his.
was the Ed from Naked Gun to Frank Drebin. He was the Ed,
Mm.
and he did a very good job. You're right there. The funniest parts of this movie has to be, and this is probably why it's on the poster. The two guys dressed up as the cow.
Oh my god. I was trying to figure out what the fuck was up with the cow, but
The fucking boots on them, and then go ahead.
it was a real cow. It was brilliant. That was great. But again, guess who wasn't in that scene?
Val Kilmer.
Kilmer.
But dude, the guy who had the back end of that, he had a really good time, then a really bad time. And then
And he walked. He walked like he totally
walked.
got railed. Yeah.
That was great. That was there was just that was funny as hell. That to me, I remembered the walking part from years ago because he's like, for those that don't know, you know or you don't know, they're dressed like a cow, and a bull sees the cow
Mhm.
and then mounts the cow, but he's not a cow; it's a person. So he's not having a good day of it. Um, I don't even remember what they're trying to stop. Was it a bomb? I don't recall what they're trying to stop.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a um a magnetic landmine.
That's
Or,
right. You turn it
or
on.
yeah, not landmine, but sub busters.
Yes, yes. And then then that submarine comes through the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, so okay, yeah, because the girl he falls in love with is the daughter of the scientist that they're trying to that they kidnapped because made him do certain things. Very similar to uh Rogue One in Star Wars. So in case y'all was wondering, everything that comes from Star Wars. Actually, it's the other way around. Point is there anything else you want to say about this wonderful movie before we move on?
No, I think we've waxed enough about this movie.
Okay. Let's go on to the 5-star and 1-star reviews. The first 5-star review comes from Billy C. The funniest movie of all time. So many great gags that work. An absolute classic. Just leave your brain at home and watch for laugh after laugh.
No, sir. The first 1 star or less comes from unknown. Genuinely abysmal attempt at comedic acting, weak casting, lame jokes.
The next 5-star review comes from Remo G. With Airplane, the beginning of the absurd humor movies. A must. It did come out before Naked Gun, so.
It just um it just seems like a WTF. The next 1 star or less comes from Paul R. Joke references are too tied to its age. Val Kilmer is an awful actor. Someone should have realized this at the time. Extremely overrated. Not really funny.
He is not. Dude needs to watch Tombstone. The man can act. I mean, he can. Just.
He just isn't funny.
And now he's dead. Don't you feel bad about that review, Mr. Paul R? Probably not. You probably don't care.
Doesn't care.
The last 5-star review comes from the most popular person unknown. Very silly. Total genius. The first time I watched it, it actually hurt my sides. I have watched it loads of times since and always spot something new in it. Great gags all the way through with superb performances. If you don't have a wacky sense of humor, you most certainly won't enjoy this. But if you are like me and love Airplane, Police Squad, Mel Brooks, etc., you'll love it.
I love all those things, but not this movie. So you're good for you, unknown.
I'm gonna give it 5 trees just for the hell of it.
Go nuts. The last 1 star or less comes from unknown. One of the worst spoof movies I have seen in a while. I could barely make it all the way through. I did get an occasional chuckle out of me, but this is nowhere near as good as Airplane was.
Well, yes, nothing is as good as Airplane. I mean, it's Airplane, it's the original. Um, but I would say that it's possible Naked Gun is better than Airplane. But yes, this is not as good as Airplane. It's you just can't beat. I mean, scary movie, those type of spoofs, nothing's topping Airplane. Okay, the WTF is from Gherkin S, 3.5 stars or 3.5 stars. A real good look on the German history. For stupid Americans who can't understand the difference between socialism, DDR, and social democracy, a party of West Germany. Val Kilmer made his way up the ladder with this one.
Thank you for that knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
mean, I guess you have to start your climb somewhere, and
I guess, and this is how Germany, they had a machine that sucked submarines. I'm a stupid American.
I
Sorry.
I honestly didn't know there was an East Germany. So
You've heard of the Berlin Wall, right?
Yeah, I thought that was
East
like
Germany,
north and
West Germany, East and West.
I thought it was north and south.
Yeah, I can understand that. Being a Canadian, I can understand that. Okay, well, let's move on to figure out what Rotten Tomatoes and the people rated this movie.
Hmm.
Well, surprisingly, Rotten Tomatoes scored this 76%. And the audience, which is you, said, hold my beer, and scored it at 80%.
Oh my god.
I don't know, but I think it's rated higher than any other spoof. I think it's rated higher than Airplane and Naked Gun.
So dumb. That
And Loaded Weapon. Loaded Weapon was a better movie.
yeah. Um wow. Wow. And Audrey got an 84 and this movie got a 79?
I don't remember Audrey.
Oh, I do.
What was Audrey?
That obsessed mom living vicariously through her daughter who's in a coma.
Oh yes, yes. Oh my God, that was such a good movie. Actually, now that I remember it, we need to review these movies a week after watching them or something. Because, anyways, so let's go on to let you all know what we think of these movies. This movie. So I'll begin. I watched Top Secret when it first came out. It was rated PG, and it should have been rated PG-13, but there wasn't a PG-13 back then. There's a boob in it. I don't care. It counts. It's on the calendar. There's some sexual things going on with an animal, which is bestialities in this twice on accident. So, um, Val Kilmer was the weak point. Omar Sharif was in this. I didn't know who that was when I watched it, but I know who he is now. Way below his ability to be in this movie. Like I said, I loved the French names, Souffle, Rendezvous. That's the name of these people. I thought the storyline was great. I thought the sight gags were perfect. I not a fan of the main character, who he was. They didn't need him. He could have not been in the show movie at all, and still had this movie, and just had like someone else take his lines because he was just a filler. I didn't like that. But it does get a stump bump. I would not recommend this to my surgeon. I almost forgot that part. And so I'm just gonna give it 2 trees.
Now it's my turn.
All right. Uh, I also will not recommend this movie to my surgeon. Uh, the the best part of this movie was everything but the lead. I can't apparently say that enough. Uh, I loved Deja Vu. He was probably one of my most favorite characters actually in this entire movie. Um, he has a big thick mustache. You'll see him. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Frenchie!" Like he just looked like a member of my family. Like he looked like a Canadian. Like so, I just felt connected to that man for some weird reason. I don't know why. There
French Canadian.
one black guy in this entire movie, and he was kick ass. And there was an awesome sight gag that if you blink, you'll miss it. But he high fives another black guy for doing something. It was fucking hilarious. It was awesome. Um, the does get a stump boost because of the calendar. Uh, I am not too far off from you, actually. I will give this movie 1 tree and a stump.
Well, you heard it here. Ned gives it a tree and a stump. I give it 2 trees. We both won't recommend it to our surgeon, but you tell us what you think. Have you seen this movie? Do you want to see this movie? Do you like Val Kilmer? And God bless Val Kilmer, and R.I.P., sir. It's not your fault that this movie wasn't made for you. Plain and simple. So, but you tell us what you think. Give us a like, a follow, subscribe, tell your friends, make a comment, do something, feed the algorithm monster, because it makes us know what you want and we can give the better content for you. And if it feels like we've asked you this before, maybe we have, maybe it's deja vu, but we'll see you next week on Cheese and Space.
What?